There is a strange phenomena with the anti-gun folks that makes them, for whatever reason, really obsessed over gun owners' privates. We've all heard the tired trope that gun owners are compensating for something. Not sure how that affects women, but I can tell you that childbirth affected these a lot more than buying my first gun. And I know from the last video that I did that someone somewhere is going to screenshot that, so you're welcome. Now, for whatever reason, an anti-gun group joined up with your tax dollars to prove the myth once and for all, because talking about gun owners' junk is the pinnacle of online arguments. But ladies and gentlemen, it turns out that when it comes to gun owners, fortunately for the women who love them and unfortunately for the antis, it turns out that the opposite is true. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm gonna get this part out of the way right here because I know why you're really here. Here is a word about today's sponsor. I know on this channel, when we talk about the tyranny of three-letter agencies, it's usually the ATF. But the fact of the matter is that every alphabet agency is bloated, weaponized, and specializes in restricting your rights. The FDA is no different. They don't have to have the tactical teams of some of the other agencies to show that they don't have our best interests in mind. Just one example is something called NMN. NMN is the precursor to NAD+, which is an essential enzyme for things like your metabolism, DNA repair, cell growth, and survival. It's a pretty big deal, with studies showing that it can reduce weight, improve blood pressure, reduce inflammation, help control diabetes and cholesterol, and even has anti-aging effects, and it is already in every cell in your body. And yet, the FDA is trying to change its status from supplement to a drug because then it can make them more money and give them more control. So, in the spirit of rebellion, Black Forest Supplements is offering my viewers a buy two, get one free deal for the next 48 hours only. To get your supply today, use my link in the description or the QR code in this video to support your health and give the finger to the FDA. All right, gang. I don't know which part of this story is better. The fact that an anti-gun group actually funded this story thinking it would be a gotcha moment, or the fact that it went the opposite of what they were expecting. But in the end, we all lose anyway because tax dollars went towards this ridiculousness. Now, a cornerstone of being a gun owner on the internet is being told that your genitals are small and that you don't know how to use them to satisfy your relational partner. After all, why else would you go out and buy a full semi-auto Ghost Assault AK-15 with a grenade launcher? I mean, really? Now, before we go on, a little note. As much as some of you in the comments want me to say the P word, I am pretty sure that is one of the ways that I would get flagged on YouTube, so I will be going with any number of euphemisms, including the internet's own eggplant. So the study in question, Size Matters? Eggplant Dissatisfaction and Gun Ownership in America, was funded in part by Change the Ref, which is delightful as it's one of the groups associated with David Hogg. You might remember them as the group behind the Shotline, which is an illegal robocall service that uses AI to make fake voice recordings of murder victims to harass politicians and the NRA. It is very morbid and creepy. And did I mention the illegal part? The group also says that they work to raise awareness of mass shootings and reducing the influence of the NRA and gun makers through urban art, and nonviolent creative confrontation, which is illegal phone calls. This and their robocall hotline is meant to be empowering, as is apparently funding academics to talk to men about their little members. The study appeared in the American Journal of Men's Health and was conducted by researchers at the University of Texas, San Antonio. It is not the first time that researchers at the university looked into what gun-owning men are packing. They previously ran a study trying to tie gun ownership to sexual dysfunction and failed on that front too. So, along with a gun control group who is anti-gun and seems to be very anti-gun owner, they thought they had it this time going for proof of size, or rather, lack thereof. Because I don't know, they just really love dicks. To do this, the researchers took data from over 2,000 men aged 18 and older and had them rate their eggplant satisfaction when at full attention, as well as any experiences with eggplant enlargement. They also analyzed participants' satisfaction with their performance, number of partners, and feelings of masculinity. Then they asked them about gun ownership. As per the results, it turns out that the more satisfied a man is in his eggplant department, the more likely he is to own guns. Giggity. The more a man is unhappy with his eggplant, the more likely he is to not own guns, attempt eggplant enlargement, and, this part is my own hypothesis, apparently project that unhappiness to other men on the internet. Because they feel little. And it wasn't a small effect. Every point down on the satisfaction and size scale corresponded to an 11% drop in the odds of owning a gun and a 20% drop in owning a rifle like an AR or an AK. This effect was even stronger when the man was between the ages of 18 and 29. And try as they might, they just could not link eggplant enlargement to gun ownership at all. Through this data, they also learned a few other interesting tidbits. For example, men in the South, are more likely to report gun ownership, which is a given. But gun-owning men also scored higher on masculinity and tended to have a higher household income than those who didn't, despite often living in rural areas. So not only are gun owners happier with their members, they're not the poor hicks the left makes them out to be. That could be a function of ammo being so dang expensive, but that would be another study. In the discussion of the results, the researchers say that this confirmed previous research that there's no link between gun ownership and sexual dysfunction, but say the results of gun ownership being linked to greater masculinity, eggplant size, and overall sexual satisfaction is unprecedented. Though I am sure there are some ladies in the audience that could argue that it's not all that unpredictable. Still, because there is no current theory as to why more well-endowed men are more likely to own guns, the researchers told the Sci Post it could be that the association just isn't real. For now, their guess is that men with bigger you-know-whats have more testosterone. The psychosexual theory of gun ownership remains unsupported. Guns are clearly phallic symbols. Clearly? Really? I don't know about that, but do go on. Guns are clearly associated with masculinity. The psychosexual theory of gun ownership consistently fails in its assertion that men who have trouble with their little buddies or are dissatisfied with their little buddies are especially likely to acquire guns as a means of compensation. Gun ownership is more likely driven by greater masculinity, diverse constructs of manhood, or perhaps even higher levels of testosterone than by deficits in masculinity or sexual health. The authors hope to formally assess this hypothesis soon, and I cannot wait to see how they figure out those results. But perhaps the best part of all of this, the study cites a 2017 satire piece from The Truth About Guns as one of their inspirations for the research. In 2017, the Truth About Guns blog declared that a study confirms gun owners have smaller members. This satirical study reported that states with a higher percentage of gun ownership tended to exhibit lower rates of online purchases of larger-sized condoms. So thank you, Dan Zimmerman, for indirectly bringing us this gem. And with that, my dear ladies and gentlemen, that is it for this video. But I could not pass up the opportunity to bring to you. So please like, share, and subscribe if you are new here. Ring that notification bell and drop a comment down below. No pictures, please. That will also get me kicked off of YouTube. And please, none in my inbox. Thanks. And with that, thank you as always for tuning in, and happy shooting.